just a little while ago. And I've been sitting with this dream that I had, trying to get it right so that I could document it. I know it's been a while since I've documented a dream, but I've kind of been busy with other things. So I'm only going to tell you what I saw in the dream. I can't add anything to it, or I know what it means. So I need to prepare the people of Great Britain. So I dreamt I know it was definitely somewhere in Yorkshire, but I couldn't tell you where. It looked like around kind of the Bromheads, Reservoir. Oh, I can't say that word. Bromheads, Reservoir. It was very like long, twisting roads, country roads, surrounded by forests and nature and rolling hills and that sort of thing, farmland. I was there. I was walking through the forest. I was touching the trees. It's been such a long time since I've seen the forest. I miss the forest so much. I miss the ocean too. Can't wait to see the forests and oceans again. So, I was walking amongst the forest, and I was touching, like, running my hands along the trees, and kind of, I was walking barefoot as well, which was really weird. And all of a sudden I noticed that the birds had stopped talking, and it had gone really quiet. And it was the kind of quiet that became uncomfortable. And in my dream, I remember thinking, oh, what now? Sorry. Just a little off tangent here. What was I going to say? Pay attention to whether you start coughing and get phlegmy after you eat certain foods. After you eat, if you're suddenly coughing and you're getting like snotty noses and phlegm in your chest, make sure it's not a citric acid intolerance instead of like a cough or a flu or anything like that, because citric acid intolerance is on the rise, and the symptoms of it are coughy, fluey, chesty coughs, runny noses, runny eyes. You can get things like urinary tract infections, burning urine, that sort of thing. Yeah, I had it, and it was absolutely horrendous, but I'm not there yet. I'm about 5%. I still get the, the coughing and the phlegm and that after I eat certain foods, and unfortunately it's in everything. When I had to go completely citric acid free in my diet, I basically just lived on brown for 3 months, and it was horrendous. You can't have anything like apple. You can have apples. You can't have anything like broccoli, potatoes, garlic, onion, like nothing that flavours food. You can't have tomatoes, so I couldn't have like any sort of pastas. Oh, it was just horrendous. But a lot of people are getting coughs and colds and that, or even where they've been told it's asthma, and it might actually be a citric acid intolerance. So look it up, and pay attention to what happens after you eat your food. I just need to put that out there. So anyway, I was walking along this forest, and the birds, it was so quiet, like those suspenseful moments in movies where you're waiting for like the jump scare. It was just like that. And then I stopped, and I don't know who I was with. I was definitely with someone, because I was talking to them, and I was like, shh, can you hear that? And he said, what? And I said, exactly. He goes, I can't hear anything. And I said, exactly. And then I looked at him, although I don't know who he was, and I was like, oh my God. And I sort of put my hand on him to brace, like to brace him. And it was like you could hear like this, but like really deep. And it sounded like it was coming from the ground. It was like this deep, rumbly sort of kind of sort of sound. And then the ground started slightly move, like, imagine, the only way I can describe it, imagine as if you were out in the forest one day and you realised you were in Jurassic Park because a dinosaur moved and you were hearing them walking in the distance before it got louder and more violent before you actually realise you're looking at a dinosaur. The rumble, the rumble coming from the earth. It was coming from the earth. It was coming from deep in the earth. Like it was like something really big was taking footsteps towards us. And the closer they got, the louder the rumble, the more the ground started to shake, to the point where it was almost like a wave pool of energy was just like sweeping over the ground. And it was, I was about to start getting scared, like, what the hell's going on? I didn't know if the ground was going to rip open. I didn't know if we were having an earthquake. I didn't know if I was about to see a giant or a dinosaur or what, but like I was just about to start being afraid. And then something just said to me, turn around. And I turned around. I'm going to get goosebumps. Hang on. And it was just thousands upon thousands upon thousands of northerners all walking together, and they all had like pitchforks and torches and placards. But I can't remember what the placard said, but I know they had pitchforks and torches, and they were heading straight to London. And I know this because then what happened was there was like 10 Downing Street, the front door, and it started boom, like shaking, boom. The was kind of like the building shaking, and then the boom of what was kind of like the building shaking was the aftershock of the boom. And Keir Starmer opened the door and poked his head out, and he was like, it was something like, what the oh, he goes, what the F word is it now? I said the same thing. Oh, what now? But he goes, what the F word is this now? Oh, what the F is it now? He goes. And he was standing outside his door, and then he looked to the left, and it was like he went as white as a ghost. He went so white and so pale, which is saying something for him. He looks like a thumb. He went as white as a ghost, and he started walking towards like this gate bit off number 10, and the streets, I'm telling you now, were lined with northerners. I knew they were northerners. They were wearing like different it was like their placards and t-shirts and that were from different parts of northern England. And they were furious. They were absolutely, like, they were so angry. They were so furious with this man that they were coming to tear everything down. And how do I explain it? He turned into like a pink soft serve ice cream, like like a soft serve. It's like he just completely lost all his bones. And then I woke up. Now, it's obvious what it is, but there's a lot of symbology in there anyway. Obviously, he's done something, or he's about to do something that sets Northerners off. It's going to tip Northerners over the edge. It's going to tip them over the edge in a way where taking him down isn't an option anymore. It has to be done. And it's like, well, if no one else is going to do it, we're going to do it, sort of thing. There were so many Northerners, you couldn't even see the streets. It was like waves upon waves. It was like it was never ending. It was like they'd shut the country down. They'd shut everything down just by dropping their tools and picking up pitchforks and torches instead. And it was soldiers, it was police officers, it was people in like supermarket uniforms, it was people in like nurses' uniforms, people with like high-vis jackets on, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, like all different colours, all different sexes, all different jobs. And it reminded me of my Southport dream that I had in 2007, where my mum was dressed as a Māori warrior with flowers in her hair, and she was running across the field, and she had like thousands of Māori warriors running with her, and they were dressed in their grass skirts, and they had their taihas and meres, their spears, and their weapons of war, and they were running across the field, and they met British people who were running towards my lot on the other side. And I remember, I'll put a link in the description box below, but it's a quite common dream. Everyone knows about this dream because it was talking about the use of chemical weapons and stuff. And the British people were running towards the Indigenous people, and when they got together, they teamed up to fight together. Back in 2007, I didn't understand the dream, but I understand it now. And I think, I keep saying it over and over, I think I'm going to help Britain take Labour government down. I think I'm going to help them take the government down. Somehow, something I've said, something I've done, something I've investigated, I think is going to be like it's going to tip people over the edge, and it's going to end up, I think, possibly impeaching him or getting him arrested. He turned to jelly. He turned to like a pink jelly goo, which means spineless, coward. Couldn't defend himself. There was nothing to defend himself for, spineless. Like when the evidence is so overwhelming, you can't defend yourself. Like, I think that's why he turned as white as a ghost. When he saw the people, he knew he'd messed up. He knew immediately, what the hell have I done? What the hell have I done? And having no defence, which is why he turned to goo. The interesting thing is, as I was starting to wake up, and I keep saying this because it's Queen Elizabeth, I'm telling you now, as number 10 was shaking, after he turned to the goo and I woke up, I remember God in a comedy like nativity scene costume, like, those really cheap costumes you'd get from a costume shop if you were going to be God, like that, was standing over number 10, and he was picking it apart like he was picking Lego apart, taking the house of Lego bricks down. But it was just number 10. And I swear to God, when I woke up, as I sort of was starting to wake up, thinking, how am I going to put that dream together to explain it to everybody? I swear to God, pun not intended, but I swear to you, as true as I'm standing here, as I was waking up, when I looked at God standing over 10 Downing Street, picking it apart like a house of Lego, I swear to God it was Queen Elizabeth in disguise. I'm swearing to you now, it looked like a woman dressing as in a comedy god outfit, and I swear to you it was Queen Elizabeth. The reason why I call her codename Lady in Red is that in one of the codes that had come through, like when she was giving me identifiable markers, what happens is when people's deceased loved ones and that come through codes for me in the picking up like TV signals in the atmosphere, right? And when I tune into those TV signals, I start to get an image, and then I can write it down and document what it is I'm seeing. And one of those images, she was telling me about, like, I don't know if it was during the war or just after the war, how her and her sister used to dress up incognitus and go and be around like the common folk. And they didn't know that this was her and Margaret in disguise. But they used to dress up as like common folk and go out amongst the people, just like to be like they'd slip out. And I think that it used to like give their mother and that strokes because nobody knew where they'd go missing for a couple of hours, and it would put everyone in quite a panic. But I think she was a little bit of a minx when she when she was younger. So that's what she was telling me about. So I used to say to her, you know, she was like the queen in disguise. So I'd joke to the king when I'm relaying my information on X and that for the purposes of getting witnesses. I think she used to sneak out and dress up and stuff, and I swear to God it was her. So I call her codename Lady in Red because she was telling me this time about how she used to wear red. You know, she would, yeah. So I called her codename Lady in Red, which is why my space navigation system, I want to call it Red Lil for Red Elizabeth. Just like my little thing for her. So, yeah, so I swear it's her because that woman loves to, she used to like dressing up in disguises to slip out when she was younger. In her 20s and 30s maybe, so it must have been after the war. She must have been, I'm pretty sure if I remember rightly, she was even married. And maybe have even had Charles. Yeah, I can't remember what I wrote down, but it is there. So, looking at this dream and interpreting it, I'd say Starmer's done something, or something has been found out, or something has been uncovered that's going to tip Northerners over the edge, and they're all going to head down south. Like they're all going to just in droves head down south. There were tractors, there were vans, there were like buses full of people, and everybody was focused on number 10. Everybody was focused on getting to that door. And the thing was, the police and that were guarding that gate didn't do anything. It was like they knew there was nothing they could do, and they stepped back, like, take him as yours, like that. So I don't know what he's done, or I don't know why it involves me. I can only assume it's because of something I've said, or something I've found, or something I've uncovered. Maybe it's these impeachment laws or something. I don't know, but it's like the wave is coming, and it's heading straight to Keir Starmer's door. It may have something to do with Southport. I'll put the link in the description box. It may be to do with Southport. It may be even to do with the fact that the British have just announced that they're going to be putting up those cameras that read your moods. You know how I've been saying they use the Schumann resonance to mess with your mind. They can use those Schumann resonance cameras that read your emotions and stuff. They can use the emotion cameras to mess with the Schumann resonance to turn you into the next Southport stabber. Which is why I'm wondering, it's my Southport dream from 2007. And in that video, the song London Calling. London's calling. London's calling. Da 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 da. That one. So get ready, Starmer, because I think you're about to go down in a way that you're not going to recover from. So I had to document it. Please, Your Majesty, wake up. Wake up! Don't go down with the ship. You don't deserve to go down with the ship. The fact that Queen Elizabeth, I swear it was her, keeps turning up in the dreams, tells me that not only is there still hope to save you, but you're still innocent in all of this. Anyway, let's see what happens, but some big stuff's coming for 10 Downing Street on behalf of the Great Northern Earthquake. I'll speak to you later. Ka kite anō.